Hi, I'm Peter Din, and today I'm going to be talking about fractals. So, what are fractals? According to fractalfoundation.org, fractals are infinitely complex patterns that are self-similar across different scales. It is usually defined as something with a infinite parameter but a finite area. This is because fractals will infinitely repeat itself whenever you zoom in, but will always remain the same shape no matter how long you wait. Uh, so I have some fractals over here, and the whole point of fractals is like a snowflake. That if you zoom in into every little area, no matter where you zoom in, it create this same shape in its entirety again. But say if I were to draw a triangle around this, the area of the fractal won't increase, or if I were to draw a hexagon around this, it would be no bigger than the hexagon I drew. So it's sort of like a like 1/3, where it's just like 0.3333. It infinitely gets bigger. Well, the perimeter infinitely gets bigger because it has no end. Uh, when you zoom in, there will never be a point in time where you'll stop. So the perimeter is always increasing, but the area is a constant. It has one area. So how rare are fractals? Wherever you go outside, you can see fractals all around nature. Though it could seem as if these occurrences are rare, it's quite the opposite. Fractals could be found in different plants, uh, lightning bolts when it rains and there's a thunderstorm, uh, or even in animal blood vessels or our own blood vessels. Here I have some photos of like sunflowers. That's a fractal. Furnace a fractal if you zoom in. Lightning is a fractal. Tree branches are also fractals, and our own blood vessels are also fractals. But fractals aren't just found in nature, nor is it there for visual appeal. When I first heard about fractals, I didn't really get the usage of fractals in our everyday lives, but after doing some research, I've realized that fractals played a huge part in our current technological advancements today. Some examples are fractal antennas, fractal transistors, fractal heat exchange, and the usage of fractals in video game design. So, what really struck me was fractal antennas. In my opinion, it's one of the most overlooked technological advancements. Not because it's not used, it's definitely used a lot commercially, but I don't think a lot of people know about this. So it was inspired by the first person who coined the term fractal, Mandelbrot, like the Mandelbrot set. It was made by Nathan Cohen when he realized that if he bent a piece of wire in the shape of a fractal, here's a fractal antenna. So if he bent that wire in a sort of bent fractal shape and connected it to his ham radio, the wiring would work better than traditional AM and FM radios that existed at the time. So over here you see, when you have an AM or FM radio, it it sends like a very specific wave of transmission. Like say if AM was like this curvy wave, it will only send AM. Same with FM, it's just a straight line. But with fractal antennas, it allowed the radio to access both AM and FM. Cohen's finding would then cause a massive technological advancement in the wireless communication department. We would then see the implementation of fractal antennas to cars, replacing AM and FM radios singularly, entirely. Even cell phones today use fractal antennas to connect to cell towers. As mentioned in the more like the photos in the previous slides, you can see that there's different iterations of cell phone chips. So 0 iteration, and then first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration. If you look at this graph, every iteration there's a lower frequency of gigahertz. That allows what we know as 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, etc. Another great thing to mention is that Fractals has allowed us to really miniaturize the different communication devices that we have today. Though I showed you the photo over here, it isn't a representation of what a fractal could really do. This is a really old design, while the AM and FM radios are a more modern design. But if you look at the SIM cards or different fractal antennas that we use on phones, you can see how small it truly is. By understanding that fractals aren't just found in nature, aren't just found in blood vessels or plants, but rather is a very important part on how we view our current communication systems today, we can better appreciate the work and the usage of fractals, and maybe inspire some to explore more on the field